Hi, it's Paul here from Landlord Photography and welcome to this week's Property Marketing Monday. So this week I've had a number of questions sent to me, so thank you very much for that. So I'm just going to crack on with those. Before I do though, for anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Paul from Landlord Photography. We are a UK-based property photography, 360 video HMO dressing company. Okay, so if it's anything to do with creating visual assets in your property marketing in the UK, we are probably the company to talk to. We've got 5 offices across the UK and we cover most of the UK. Now, the questions this week are very much steered towards the lockdown that's happened in the UK. So my answers are going to be very UK specific this week. Not that there's not information there that can help anybody in other locations, but it is very specific to the UK. So let's get started. So the first question, can you market properties right now because of the lockdown? Simple answer is yes. The government have declared that estate agents and letting agents can stay open, so can landlords. Interesting article is this one here. It's on Estates Agents Today. That's quite a good article, so have a read of that. So next question, can you photo properties right now and what precautions should you take, especially when tenants are in situ? Yeah, so look, think about your own safety. If you're going out there photographing properties, think about safety of you and your team. So some of the things that we do in our company, because we are still operating, we are still providing services to our clients. We check if the property is empty. That's the ideal state, that nobody's there. Maybe we get keys out of a key safe or somebody just throws us a set of keys from the end of the driveway. That's the ideal. But if there are people in situ there, we ask that everybody wears face coverings. We wear face coverings. We ask for social distance. We're gelling our hands as we're going into the property and going throughout the property. What we aren't doing is, whereas before we'd walk around with either the landlord, the agent or the owner and make little tweaks to the rooms to present them to their best, we are not touching those properties right now. So if anybody wants to make any changes, they need to do it for us. We obviously check to make sure that nobody's self-isolating or had a positive test in that property. I've mentioned about wearing face coverings. You can wear gloves, but I personally find that wearing gloves is a bit difficult with using the camera equipment. So what I choose to do is gel my hands regularly. So that's really it. So yes, just be sensible. And what I would also say is, if you've got any underlying medical conditions that, if you were to catch it, you'd be in trouble. Then maybe you should not do it. But that's obviously a decision only you can make. Next question, are 360 virtual tours a good option instead of viewings? Well, the governments in the UK have actually come out and said on their website that first viewings should be done virtually. So even the government have caught on to virtual viewings. I think they are a great option. Personally, would I buy a property just on the strength of a 360 virtual viewing? If it was an investment property, maybe. If it was a property to live in, probably not. So people probably still do want to view, but what we find from our clients who use a 360 virtual tours, because it is a service that we offer, so if you want 360 virtual viewings, obviously get in touch and we can sort those out for you. But what we hear from our clients is that their conversion rate from viewings goes through the roof. So for actually getting tenants or selling properties, now that they use 360 virtual viewings, it's getting rid of a lot of the time wasters and the tire kickers. So obviously that saves time and that makes you more efficient. One of our guys runs our Slough office. He is a 360 specialist and he's also a rent-to-rent HMO landlord, because everybody who runs a landlord photography office is a property investor first. Okay, it's one of the things that sets us apart from other property photography companies. One, we just do property photography, so that sets us apart from the generic photographers out there. But also as well, we are all property investors, so we work a lot with property investors, hence the name landlord photography. So we speak the same language and we understand what our clients need. But anyway, going back to Pierre, who runs the Slough office, he basically saved his rent-to-rent HMO business thanks to 360 virtual viewings during the first lockdown. So he'd just taken on a property and he wasn't able to fill it under normal circumstances, but he was able to put in place a contactless system for bringing tenants on board, and that works. So are 360 virtual tours a good option? I absolutely say yes, they are. Okay, next question, if I wanted to do my own 360 virtual tours, what equipment and software do I need, and what would you recommend? Okay, so let's do with a camera first of all. So there are multiple cameras out there. There's the Matterport solution, which is a fantastic solution, get great results. And our Slough office actually uses the Matterport cameras. The downside of Matterport is it's so damned expensive. So it's probably out of reach for a lot of people. So the camera that we actually recommend is this one here. It's the MySphere 360 camera. It's a good balance of quality of image and price. So we sell that one, and I'll put a link on below to this, to the camera, and I'll show you it here. That's the camera there. As you can see there, we sell it for £274. Lots of information about it on our website. And it's a really nice option. The downside with that camera is that if you buy it from anyone else, the amount of help and support that comes with it is minimal, and the help you're going to find online is minimal. So what we've done is we've actually created a full video training course that takes you through using the camera, but then once you've got the images, actually creating the 360 tour, because you then need software to create the tours and then putting them online or on the portals. And we step you through all of that as part of the course. So if you want access to that course, you can buy that course from us for £95, or you can get it free, like it says there. You can either get it free if you buy it from us. So just go to our website, links there, landlord photography, product, 360 camera, buy it from there. Now we have got, as it says there, we've only got 6 in stock at the moment. So, please be quick. So that's the camera we recommend. So as I said before, there's a camera piece and then there's a software piece. So there are various websites that you can pay a subscription to and they will host it for you. However, what we do, and if you've got a WordPress website, you might want to do the same thing, is you can get a plugin for your website. WPVR is one, iPanorama is another. And you can then host those 360 tours directly on your own website. So that's quite a nice option to do. And then you're not paying somebody a monthly fee, you're just buying the software up front. Okay, next question. For taking property photos, should I use a proper camera, whatever a proper camera is, or a phone? So I'm not really going to answer that specifically. What I'll say is, for taking good property photos, you need a wide angle lens, because if you haven't, what's going to happen is you're just going to make the rooms and the property look small, and that's not going to be very appealing. But don't go to fisheye. So some people use what they call fisheye lenses, which are ultra wide angle lenses. And what it does is it makes broom cupboards look like palaces. So that is basically misrepresentation, and you're going to have very upset people coming to see viewings of the property because the rooms are not going to be as big as they were expecting, and it just doesn't do you any favors. So use a wide angle lens, but don't go nuts with it. Don't go fisheye. And yes, some of the new mobile phones have got ultra wide angle lenses on them, so they can work there. But also you need light in the photos. So we use basically, if you like, 3 styles of photography, and let me just talk through them and I'll give you a bit of the pros and cons. The first one is what we call ambient light photography. That's where you put a camera on a tripod, you use natural light in the room, and you use a slow exposure to capture that light. I get accused of having a real downer on ambient light photography. It's not true. I think they can create some stunning images that are great for brochures, magazines, and high-end properties. The downside to ambient light photography is that if you're listing your property on the property portals and there's just that thumbnail image on a long list of searches, you want that photo to absolutely pop off the page. And I don't believe that ambient light photos do that. I think they're nice photos, but they don't pop. They're not ultra bright, ultra colourful. And that's ultimately what you need for them to pop off the page. So the next intermediate step to that, sorry, excuse me a second. Oh, sorry about that. So the next intermediate step to that is what we call HDR photography, high dynamic range. They're great for internal shots that include windows. And in those shots, you basically take 3 photos with different exposures and merge them together. They're great if you know what you're doing and if you're an experienced photographer. If you're not, what we recommend is just doing flash photography. Yes, the purists out there will say you wash out some color and blah de blah, but ultimately this isn't an art competition. It's about getting click-throughs on the portals, and those photos will get you click-throughs on the portals. So just make them super bright, super colorful. But if you're using flash, don't blow out the windows. You want to be able to see through the windows. So that's the light, that's the wide angle. Depending on what style of photography you're going to do, you're going to need a tripod. And don't underestimate editing of the photos. It just adds an extra layer and you can really make the photos pop. So it's not just about the camera. And yeah, you can get some nice photos just straight in the camera, but we would always edit our photos to really make them stand out. Because ultimately, if, say, for example, your listing was the one above one of our clients on the portals, we would want to have our photos so that the prospective tenant or prospective buyer doesn't even see your listing because their eye is automatically drawn to our client's listing. That's what we're trying to do with our photos. Now, if you do want to do your own photos, if you go to the homepage of our website, you'll find that there's a guide there. So if you just go to the homepage, go about halfway down, I think it's called a cheat sheet, click on that. And you can get this guide. In fact, I'll put a link as well to it. And this just tells you a bit more about taking your own property photos. And they're a bit about dressing as well. So there's some useful information for you. The other thing as well is if you go to a homepage of our website, there is this getting ready for the photos guide. So at the very top of our website, you will see a bar like that there. If you put your email address in there, we'll send you a copy of this one. And it basically tells you all the things to do to prepare your property for the photos. Okay, nice, succinct little guide that we've created for you there. So all of those things are there to help you to create great images of your properties. Now, also as well, if you don't want to do it yourselves, and you want to hire a pro, then get in touch. If you're in the UK, get in touch and we probably cover your area. We cover most of the UK. So that's it for this week's questions. I hope you found that interesting. And please, 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 if you've got any questions you'd like me to answer, send them to me for next week and I will answer them in next week's Property Marketing Monday. Thank you very much.